Welcome to the InfoSec Insider podcast, brought to you by URM, the UK's leading information and cybersecurity specialists.
Hi, my name's Annie and I'm here today with Neil Jones, who's one of our senior consultants here at URM. Welcome to another episode of InfoSec Insider. So today Neil and I are going to be talking about artificial intelligence impact assessments, which are part of ISO 42001. So just to start us off, please, Neil, could you tell us what exactly an artificial intelligence impact assessment, or an AIIA, is under 42001 and how it differs from a typical risk assessment?
Sure. Thanks very much for inviting me along. So an AIIA, or as you say, Artificial Intelligence Impact Assessment, it evaluates the potential impacts of AI systems on individuals, groups, society as a whole. So it's not restricted to just organisational risks, i.e. risks within the organisation. While ISO 42001 also requires a standard risk assessment, focusing on those organisational threats and objectives, the AIIA takes a broader societal view, considering harms and benefits. It's more akin to a data protection impact assessment, or a DPIA, but it has a greater detail and scope.
Perfect, thank you, Neil. And what role does ISO 42005 play? How does it tie into AIIAs?
Sure. So ISO 42005, it's a supporting standard that provides structure and templates for AIIAs. It divides the assessment into 7 sections, covering system description, data sets, model details, deployment environment, stakeholders, benefits and harms, and misuse or failures. It actually supports ISO 42001, and it's only recently been issued after having been in draft for quite some time.
So let's just unpack those sections quickly. What does each section cover?
Each section A, that's the system information. So that includes purpose, features, the intended and unintended uses of the systems. Section B, this provides the data details. So there are quality attributes, which include accuracy, representativeness, fairness, which is essentially bias, diversity, auditability, and timeliness, amongst others. There are some other ones in there as well. Section C, algorithms and models. The origin of models and algorithms which is used by the system, which may be in-house, they may be third-party or off-the-shelf models, and the development approach that's been taken if they're developed in-house. Section D, deployment environment. This is effectively the geography, the language context, the regional and cultural constraints and considerations that need to be considered for the system. Section E is the interested parties, both internal and external stakeholders and their roles in relation to the system. Section F, which is the actual and reasonably foreseeable benefits and harms. This is a substantial section, really. It identifies the positive and negative impacts for each of the stakeholder groups. It's slightly changed from the draft standard, with the addition of reasonably foreseeable. And then section G, this is the system failures and, again, reasonably foreseeable misuse. So this is considering both the technical breakdowns and intentional or accidental misuse of the system. Again, slightly changed from the draft standard with that addition of reasonably foreseeable.
Okay, so really is very comprehensive then, as you said. So at which stage of the AI lifecycle does the AIIA happen?
It should be conducted at the very beginning of the life cycle. So those familiar with the AI life cycle, that's the inception stage. This is before the AI is deployed or even really developed, right at the beginning. It must be updated regularly throughout the life cycle until the system is retired, especially if the system evolves or is indeed redeployed into other geographical environments, for example.
And given its thoroughness, how detailed does an AIIA document get?
These assessments are really very substantial. They often run to 60 or 70 pages in length. the approach to actually producing them is similar to undertaking an audit of the system. And whilst we don't require the gathering of evidence like we do in a traditional audit, ISO audit, they do demand in-depth documentation across all sections.
And how do organisations balance AIIAs with risk assessments in ISO 42001?
Well, really, the AIIA complements but does not replace a risk assessment. The risk assessment focuses on the organisational risk, including prohibited or high-risk AI uses, which is really a nod to the EU AI Act, whereas the AIIA focuses externally. Both are required under ISO 42001. Which also allows for the organisation to require discipline-specific AIIAs be performed as part of the overall risk management activities. That is, AIIAs focusing on specific aspects such as safety, privacy, or security impact of the system. So to summarise, the AIIA is a detailed societal impact assessment, distinct from the internal risk assessments. ISO 42005 provides the framework in 7 sections. It's performed before deployment and revisited throughout the AI lifecycle. The document is extensive, 60 to 70 pages, though less evidence-bound than an audit, and it's complementary to the standard risk assessments under ISO 42001.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Neil. It's been really insightful. And we've both managed to get our mouths around AIIAs for the most part. So I think that's a bit of an achievement. Just to finish us up, have you just want to close with any final words for organisations that are aiming to adopt ISO 42001?
Yeah, sure. Begin by understanding your AI's intended uses, the stakeholders for the system, and the societal context in which the system will be operated. Frame your impact assessments early, review it frequently, and use it to inform your risk management and governance continuously.
Perfect. Thank you so much for your time today, Neil. And for any of our listeners that want to read up on AIIAs a little bit more, we've got a blog on our website, urmconsulting.com, which is called ISO 42001 Artificial Intelligence Impact Assessments, brackets AIIAs. So do go and give that a read. And thank you so much for listening today. If you've enjoyed this podcast, we would really appreciate it if you could spare a moment to leave a rating or review at ratethispodcast.com/InfoSec Insider. To listen to more episodes, you can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Podbean.
Thank you for listening to URM's InfoSec Insider podcast. For more information, visit our website at urmconsulting.com.